Good morning. I'm maybe a minute early. This is Charlie Riverman Bergeron, and here on Presence of Light this morning. And the title I've addressed this with is Evolution is Not Waiting. And so I'm going to just gather the energy this morning for all of us who are evolving. Ask that it not wait, and that we not wait as well to become who we are to be as we truly are. These amazingly, constantly evolving beings here on planet Earth. Good morning, Leonie. It's been a week of energies that many of us, and I say this every week, so it's funny, we go through, we're moving through energies that are bringing up a lot of old trauma. They're bringing up new trauma, and many people seem to be reaching out to me, trying to understand, is there some sort of way to make it through this without feeling so much distress, both physical, emotional, and otherwise. Leonie, that's okay. It's a cute, that's a perfect emoji for this. We should laugh till the tears come out. This is the issue, that all of what's happening for us is really part of the evolutionary process of humanity and the Earth and the galaxy. And so we're being asked to fully participate in this. The problem is where do we find, and the word came up, solace, S-O-L-A-S, solace. Where do we find solace, which is an inner peace? How do we come to an inner peace within ourselves as we move through this appearing calamity around us? We have the Earth, spewing lava. We have nations just trying to aggravate each other. We have people who are suffering on financial levels, physical levels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not any different now than it has ever been in the life of humanity. However, what's happened is we all are not doing too well coping with it. So where do we find solace? Solace, I guess that's how you would pronounce it. Where do you find this sense of normalcy in all of this? And so for that, we usually have to go within. We have to go within, and once we go within and really ground and connect to the truth of who we are, then we need to reconnect to each other from a place of truth within us. So what I see playing out here is actually we're moving through old patterns, and we're asking them for them to be released. We may not be doing that consciously. Yes, look within, Clifford. Yeah. And this is where we're finding that these things that come up is really what's bothering us, because we have to look at ourselves and be truly honest and say, wow, I did this or this happened and this is, we have to realize that that doesn't make us any less than anyone else. We just have to be honest with ourselves in order to be able to, as I say to other people, forgive ourselves. We look outside of us and we always talk about forgiving others. Well, if we can't forgive ourselves, all the forgiveness we extend to others is really a falsity, because we're still holding a part of ourselves accountable for things that we may not really be fully accountable for. They may have been just reactions. This is what is happening now. We're reacting. We're reacting to the energies. We're becoming stressed, weakened, and it is a challenge. When I had my near-death experience 27 years ago, there was a poem I wrote, and it was one of the first times I started writing poetry. And I'll just read this to you. I sit here perched on the branch that separates fantasy from reality. I have come through the darkness into the light. Isn't to be or not to be the question humanity has struggled with for so many generations? Is it worth the struggle? For isn't to be simply to be? One cannot gauge with any scientific measure the scope of to be. It is everlasting knowledge. It is spiritual peace. It is all of the universe pulled together in one ray of light, traveling towards a destination from its divine origin. To envision this is only the beginning. And as I wrote that, what I was trying to understand at that time was it was the beginning of it was an awakening. My death experience was an amazing awakening. And it was all foreign to me. And so I was guided today to look back at what was I doing back in 1991? And where was I? I had been living what everybody would call the American sort of life. And to be taken out of that and then recalibrated and brought back, I was brought back and it was like a foreign world to me. And what I'm seeing is right now, I'm experiencing pretty much a very similar experience. Yet I'm not dying to do that. I'm here and I'm physical and I'm aware, but it's very similar. And so I say, what's really happening? And in that case, we are all, as a collective whole, going through this process of rebirthing, so to speak, of coming back or coming into a new light experience of who we are. And we're not going to understand it because it's beyond the human mind. So this is why we have to step into our hearts and find solace within ourselves and come to a place of peace. So again, what I always advise people to do is ground, to get out in nature, to reconnect with nature, the nature around you, connect with the water. We are water beings, so you want to connect with the water. We're earth. This body is earth, the saying dust to dust. Well, here we are. This body is from the earth, and we are water beings. So water and earth are very important right now in each of us. I recommend blessing the water within us, the water we drink. I recommend blessing the earth we live on, whether it's whether you live in a city or the country, but respect that space, that earthy space, and know that if you connect to that, what you will do is you will be able to find a deeper connection within yourself. And so these are two aspects that I try to tell people to do, to continually remind them and remind myself to do that, because we can get into our heads. Another thing is when we have tragedies, we look for solace. And so what's important? Loved ones, people who are close to us, to look ahead and see, try to vision something better, or try to revision what you want and focus on and set your intention on that. Also to think backwards and realize, where have you come from to get to this point, and note it and recognize that this is an ongoing situation. It's not just this moment, that it's all of the past experiences, all leading into the future experiences, but none of those are happening in this moment. The only thing that's happening is you sitting there thinking about them. And know that you're safe. You're safe in that water. You know you're safe in this earth. And in that moment, come back together, come back into a form of emotional stasis. Face that emotion. Face all those emotions that you're going through. Look at them and realize where in your life they arose from. And for me, a lot is going back to early childhood now, and birth, and friendships and relationships that I've had during my life, and realizing that I have to say goodbye to the ones that didn't work, and I have to forgive myself for my participation in those. That yes, the other people were whatever they were, but I was a co-creator in that energy. And although I didn't understand my role in that at the time, I realize now that I was a participant, whether willingly or unwillingly, and I have to forgive myself and say, there but for the grace of God go I, because I knew nothing. I was totally blind to what was going on around me. Similar, hello Shelley, free flow nature is a key meditation. We are all on a journey, love and light. God bless you. Thank you, Clifford. That's, again, this is where we are. We're part of the free flow of nature. And this is something, when we start to realize that we are in a flow, it takes away some of the stress. So I often use the analogy of, or the Zen saying, would you rather be a rock in the river, or would you rather be a leaf on the river? And this is a shift of perception. When we're the rock, we're stuck, we're trying to stay grounded, we're heading in, the water's rushing by, and we're always in a struggle. When we become the leaf, we become part of the flow. And look what the leaf gets to see while it flows. It may get stuck over here for a little while, then a storm comes and pushes it out. And so you see that it's a much more open experience than the rock, who is continually, daily battling against the flow of our evolution. And it's not just humans that are evolving, it's all of life. So these are things that, as I thought about this morning, I had no concept of what I was going to talk about. And then this morning, somebody mentioned the word resetting. And that started this whole thought form that we are resetting. We're resetting humanity in a new space, in a new time. And that time and space is rapidly moving. So it's like being in the rapid flowing water. The other thing is, once we face our emotions and realize that it's energy in motion, and that we as sovereign beings have control over that, then we can start to work with ourselves a little bit easier and learn to reconnect to each other. So another part of the problem that we're going through as a collective humanity is all the separation in the world, where all the distortion and everybody is pulling each other apart, and it's you against me and me against you, and we're taking the polarity and we're just stretching it right to the limit. And so there will always be duality, there will always be polarity here. The difference is if we can marry them, if we can bring them back to wholeness within ourselves, then we can reach outside of ourselves and connect with others and bring them back into unity. Again, the balance of masculine and feminine energies. It isn't about I'm a male and you're a female and we're going to marry. We have these masculine and feminine energies within us. And these are the energies that want to be married, brought together because they've been separated. And so as we bring that within ourselves together and work on those issues, all of a sudden we'll start to say, wow, this is not so hard. This is not so difficult. Yeah, I might feel like crap and I may be having dizzy spells or physical symptoms, etc. But I know that on another level, my divine self, I'm okay. That this is just something that I'm moving through. It's not the be-all and end-all of everything. So I'm seeing a lot of people now reaching out, and they're still in a victim role, and they're playing that victim role. And I'm here to tell you that the victim role no longer serves a purpose. And so I don't know what that purpose was for all the years that we've been playing it, but I'm sure there was some purpose to it. It's no longer required. And this is the resetting. This is the resetting, is to move out of that victimization role where I'm a victim and I'm, well, life's against me, the world's rough, all of these things. It's not true. It has never been true. But somehow in my own journey, I'm trying to understand that we needed to go through that process in order to evolve. And now it's being erased, literally erased. And if we choose to hang on to that mentality or that thought process, then we're going to have a tougher time than the ones who don't. And so look around at the people who are seemingly alive and vibrant and positive, and you say, what are they smoking? Well, they're not smoking anything. Most of them, at least the ones I know, they're just tapping into who they truly are and allowing themselves to express that, to feel that, and to own it, and to understand what it feels like to be free again, to be free from all of these thought impressions that we've been given over lifetimes. I have another quote that I hung on my wall when I was trying to understand, when I came back from my death. It came to me from a book, and it was like an opening sentence in a book, and I can't remember the name of the book now. My memory is not anything like it was or could be or would be or whatever. It's perfect for who I am right now, but I don't recall a lot of information. But I do remember this, and I have it on my thing, and I pinned it on my wall because I couldn't understand what I was going through. And I'm going to read this to you, because if you listen to this, it really explains what we're going through right now and what we need to do. And it's written by an author named A.A. Attanasio. And I wish I knew the name of the book, because it was a wonderful book. But it was this one quote that he wrote, I think in the preface, that hit me the deepest. Your life belongs to you. You owe no debt to the being that roused you to this second life. Neither must you expect this being to guide you or benefit you in any way. It will not. You must find your own way now. And I'll try to type this in at the head of the letters later, whatever this sideboard is. Anyway, the interesting part was it struck me as profound, and I disagreed with this, and I fought this, and I fought this when I first read it. Because I said, I have all these angels and guides and these people, these beings, you know, just I feel them, I understand them. And yet the message in this was, and the message they have been giving me continually is, this is your life now, Charlie. This is who you are. We're here, and yeah, if you ask, we will assist on many levels, and we'll communicate with you throughout the whole process. But we're not here to make you who you are. That's your job. That's your job. You're free to undertake the truth of who you are. And so in this process of human evolution, this is what I feel for all of us, is it's our responsibility to respond from deep within our own presence to be and do what we truly came here to do. And most of us don't remember that. But as Cliff mentioned, do it with love. It's all about love. It's unconditional love. I always say the word soul, S-O-U-L, was given to me as source of unconditional love. And when we can remember that, love isn't something we get from outside of us. Love is something we are. Love is something we give, we flow. This is what the flow is. It's about flowing the love. The love we are is replaced. The more we give, the more it's replaced. And once we start to practice that, we find that everything begins to morph. The word morph comes in, becomes to shapeshift into something that we never really thought of before. It's a new creation. It's a new form. It's really aligning with who we truly are. And so as we move through these energy shifts with the planets, going through, and the galaxy and society and all of these things, it's important for us to remember that it is we who are the ones who are being asked and provided for to give solace to ourselves. And it's not selfish, this is self-fulfilling. And to embrace ourselves, and then as we clear the layers of garbage and hurt and pain and suffering, and whether you're physically ill or not, I know that's horrible and that's painful, but find somebody that, take care of your body, listen to your body, and move through this. And I know that once we change our mind, our bodies will change. And it's an alignment. And once we get out of this sort of victim mode, I'm a victim, I'm less than. And once we say, no, this is not true. It may be what I feel. I may feel like that at times. Even I feel that way. I victimize myself. And this is what I realize. I'm the one who's victimizing me. I'm the perpetrator of my own anxiety. I am the perpetrator of my own fear. I am I am the one who's doing this. Well, we got about 6 minutes left. I have a lovely book, Elise Ciara, Silence of the Mind. And there's one lovely section here. It's called Be Still for a Moment and Ask Yourself. And so as I was looking for something to confirm what was rolling through my head this just before coming on here, I picked this up, and I thought I would share it with you all. Angel, prayers for me and my family. Yes, dear, I will pray for you and your family as I pray for each and every one of you that not only listen here, but in the world, who are going through immense energy shifts. And there is chaos, and there is pain, and there is suffering. But I want you to know that you are loved, and that you have a way through this if you just look ahead and realize that you have more power than you think you do. And it isn't the power that we think of in the world of money and fame and fortune and all of that. It's the power of within you, the divine presence within you, within your heart. Your ability to love is what is key right now. Love, 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 love. Embrace, embrace, embrace. And when it hurts, love some more. Love some more. And be able and willing to recognize when it's time to let go. And this is a problem that we all have, is letting go of things that no longer serve us. Because in our mind, we think it should serve us. But in its action, we realize that it isn't serving us, it's hurting us. And it's time we wake up to the truth of that and say, thank you, I've had enough. See you, bye. So let me read this. Be still for a moment and ask yourself, why do you run towards the past? What is the point of reliving the moments which are already gone? All that is old has no value in the present. It is but a fantasy, empty and deceitful. Why do you run towards the future? Do you believe it is new? It is but another deceit, its source the same, ego. The projection into the future is old as well. It comes from the same source, the memory baggage. Therefore, the past or the future are not to be sought. Through them, the sacredness of life will never reveal itself. It is always newness in the incoming moment. It demands of us, we encounter it with the same freshness. Let us be aware of ourselves all the time, of our wandering thinking, absurd and selfish in its mechanicalness. It always wants to relive the moments it enjoyed and to banish the unpleasant moments far away in the past. Life in its flow brings us joy and pain. They come together and can be found everywhere. If our understanding is distorted according to our own prison, the same self and its deceitful values is to blame, and that's the small letter self. The newness of life can only be encompassed in one way, when we are aware of ourselves without any purpose in mind. We are pure energy, open to the present moment. This is the only way to encounter absolute reality. In such a state, we are open to everything without any fears or excesses fueled by the ego. Man is wise when, free from his small s self, he becomes one with the infinite through non-action. The secret meaning happens in simplicity. By eliminating all that was, we live in the new. With a clear, lucid mind, we watch everything that comes in its natural movement. We are the eternal divine. And when we start to grasp some of the levels of that we are these divine sovereign beings, that we were never meant to be slaves to others, that we were never meant to suffer, that on the scales that we have. It's very scary because this is the pattern we've lived genetically for thousands of years. And so now it's up to us to break free from this bondage. And that's scaring the living daylights out of us. And it's okay. It's not something that is for everyone to look at and say, oh yeah, I can do this and it's no big deal. It is a big deal. I have a few quotes here from one from Neil Donald Walsh, who says, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. From Deepak Chopra comes, in the midst of movement and chaos, keep stillness inside of you. And from a person I don't know, recognize the name, a woman, Lorraine Anderson, this brings us back to the grounding of nature. And it says, nature has been for me, for as long as I remember, a source of solace, inspiration, adventure, and delight, a home, a teacher, a companion. And so, my beloved family, I, dearly love each and every one of you, and encourage you to connect back to nature, to your physical body, to the water within you, to the earth within you, to embrace yourself in letting go and knowing that the more we let go of these belief systems and these thought forms that are destroying us, the easier it will be to move into our true self and co-create the new world, the new earth, however you want to look at it. And so with that, I'm complete, and thank you, each one of you, for showing up, and thank you for the comments on the side. I don't know if I can see them again. Yes, live in the moment. Yes, peace, blessings. Thank you. And each one of you are truly my brothers and sisters. And I want you each to come back to peace, light, and love. And that's the only way through this. What's happening doesn't matter the form. The form doesn't matter anymore. As there's 7 trillion people on the planet, there's 7 trillion forms, and even more. So know that you are the solidarity here. Marry the masculine and feminine within you. Embrace yourself. Embrace each other. And have a great week. I hope your week gets better. And I hope my week gets better. It's been an interesting week for sure, and one which has brought this message up in me. And I know if it's coming up in me, it's also coming up in you. So that's my Presence of Light talk for today. And thank you all for showing up, and may you be blessed, and know that I love you, I thank you, and I respect you. See you soon. Bye-bye. If I can figure out how to shut this off. I always get there and do this, and there it is, end live video. I'm still human. Bye-bye.